Max, how are you, man?
Hey man, how you doing?
You good, brother? What's happening?
What's going on, man? Interview day.
Interview days. Yeah, well, what time is it there?
It's almost 5 in the afternoon.
Beer o'clock.
What's
Almost,
that?
almost beer o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah. I still gotta go again. I gotta go practice tonight, but it's all good, man. Good. How
Yeah,
you doing?
good, man. Good. I'm just at work, taking a break, having a chat with you. It's all happening, man. It's cool. It's great.
It's happening.
Yeah. Well, man, I gotta say, I'm pretty damn excited. You're heading back to Australia for the Third World Trilogy tour, celebrating the re-recordings of Morbid Visions, Geo Devastation, and Schizophrenia. You've done these shows over in Europe and the UK, and I've seen a little bit of footage, and it looks fucking bananas, dude. It just looks off the chain.
It's a great exciting tour, man. Like because those songs are they were like trapped in time, and we
Mm,
kind of brought them back to life with the re-recordings. Kind of like if you had like an old broken car in your garage, and you give it to a badass mechanic, and he puts a huge brand new motor in
mm,
it.
yeah.
So it's still the old car, but it's just got like all this power from the motor. I think that's what we did with those records, with those re-recordings. We didn't change the songwriting. Songwriting is
No.
great. It's like don't touch anything. Let's just make this shit better and more, you know, sound killer with the sound of right now, but without being modern either. Like we didn't want a really a modern sound. We just wanted to sound good. And then of course live is where it's at. Live is
Mm.
where all the shit goes down hard. Um, and we're playing them really, really good, and I'm excited for Australia. Um, we got a couple surprises in the end of the set. I'm not gonna say anything. We're just gonna let it marinate it, let the wonder what we're gonna play. But the bulk of the show is the three records together. Bestial, Morbid, and Schizophrenia. That's majority of the show is based on those three records together.
Man, I'm so keen to hear this stuff live. I never thought in a million years that I'd hear all this stuff together at one show. Like, it's that
Yeah,
pit.
it's a lot of power. It's a lot of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like those. They're fast. That shit's fast. And my brother, it's like you gotta keep up. I don't know how he does it, man. But um, it's great. It's great playing the material. And now that we have Schizophrenia, like that was kind of like the missing link
Mm.
because we had done Morbid Devastation, but I felt like it needed an extra kick, and Schizophrenia is it. Uh, and Schizophrenia being to me the prototype death thrash album of all time. Like I think that's like we almost like we didn't invent it, but we were like real pioneers of the melting of death metal and thrash metal. And Schizophrenia is where that combination came full. The full picture came in focus on that record. Now we add that to the set. Then you got all the bangers from the early.
Yeah.
You got all the black metal from Morbid Visions, Bestial Devastation, but then you got the trash from Schizophrenia. That's just like, it makes the whole thing like, you want to like grab somebody and choke them.
It's rage, man. It's just,
That's
man.
pure rage. It's pure rage, brother.
It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. I mean, to some fans, of course, that material is pretty sacred. But I know dudes that got the re-recordings, and were like, "This is just fucking incredible." Were you a little bit hesitant at first to go down that road, or were you just like, you know, we just have to do it and follow this path?
No, I think instead of being hesitant, I was actually curious
Mm.
because as much as I love those records, they have a charm on their own. You know, that it's the era, it's the period. But as a musician, you like wonder what would they sound like with a real sound,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
You get
yeah.
to hear those riffs. You don't hear the riffs on the original. Like when you're playing like War is just a bunch of like it sounds messy. Like there's no definition on the
Mm.
guitar. And I think the way we approach it was really cool too, because I think what we did was me and Igor just did the thing the way we always do our whole life. I put a mic in the middle of the room. I got my guitar, and Igor's right in front of me, and like 1, 2, 3, go live. You know, that's the brother magic right there.
Hmm.
We didn't break that, and I think that's in the center of the recordings. Of course, you have really good help from Arthur. You know, he is a wizard when it comes to production, and I'm talking about Arthur Risk, of course. And you know, I remember when I first heard the Power Trip record that he did, Nightmare Logic, and I told him, I say, what kind of black magic is this? You know, because you made a brand new band sound like they're from 1987, man. You know, because I came from that trash era.
Yeah.
So that's why it was cool to work with Arthur, because he knows about that stuff. He knows about making shit sound right. Um, Especially old shit like this. So it was like incredible. And I think we treated the material with respect as a fan, you know, like we went in as let's not change anything. We maybe there's a couple changes in
Mm.
like a speaking in a couple songs, that's it. And everything else was just like let's play them as angry as we remember playing them when we were kids, you know. And that's like that's in the center of the record, that you can feel this tension and this anger that is have not lost uh didn't lost the tension through the years. We still managed to grab a hold of it, you know. and
Yeah.
and I think that's I heard from a lot of people. Even I made the test with a friend of mine because he's like an old school Sepultura fan, and you know, both of his sons are named Max and Igor, and he I say if it passes this guy's test, then I'm good, you know. And so I play it for him, and he lost his shit, you know. So I knew he was good, but I did not expect to actually have the response that he did, because everybody kind of lost their shit on the record. Like this is the way you should do it. Um, Pretty much everybody say re-recording is a horrible idea, but if you're gonna do it, this is the way to do it. This is how these guys did it. Is the right way to do it. You know, so it was cool. I'm glad that we managed to not ruin the originals,
Mm.
actually improve them. You know, I think we improved the originals, and we can hear the songs, that you can hear the riffs. And I fell in love again with tracks that I don't remember being huge fans when the first stuff came out. Stuff like War and Mayhem and Necromancer. I'm all in now. Like I love this song. I can't believe that we were teenagers when we wrote this shit. It's crazy.
How was it? Did you remember all the riffs off the top of your head, or did you have to go back and study the records? Because
A lot of
it's a big task.
a lot of those were my riffs, so I remember like most of them. Like um, just kind of just went back and it's funny saying that, but it's true. It's like riding a bicycle. Once you learn it, you don't never forget how to do it.
Yes.
Um, so it was kind of like that. But yeah, I mean, we went back and jam a whole lot to get it right. And uh, I was really insistent on Igor's using the rototoms. You know, that was like my thing. Like, and also I saw an interview somewhere with Creator because we did the Creator drum sound from Pleasure to Kill.
Mm.
And I think that drum sound, if I'm not mistaken, Ventor says that they put the microphone inside the toms. They remove the skin of the
And
bottom tom
ah,
and you stick the mic inside the fucking toms. So those things they sound like tubes, like a
yeah, it gets
tubular
that hollow.
hollow
Yeah.
sound. And that's how we did, especially on schizophrenia. It's a little bit on morbid vision, but schizophrenia we went all out. And I remember the engineer wasn't a big fan of that because that goes against everything those guys are taught, you know. Especially if you get an engineer that's very this is the professional way,
Yeah, that's
and
yeah.
I'm telling like I don't give a shit about the professional way. I give a shit about the metal way. This is how the shit's gonna be like. This is how this guys recorded this shit back in the day. This is how we're
Yeah.
gonna do it. And the other thing we did too that I refuse to let Pro Tools be involved when it comes to like recording the riffs. Like I record every riff. Like no, there's no doubles. There's no make record a riff. I'll fly this riff over there. No, 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 no. I'm gonna play because I tweak a little bit so
Mm.
the second time around the riff is a little bit slightly different than the first time, and that's the magic of it. So you
Yeah.
keep it human. Otherwise, it's just a computer can do that, for you. Otherwise, AI can do that for you, and
Yeah.
we don't want that. We want a human feeling to it. So we did everything. We had all this technology in the studio at our disposal, and we didn't use any of it.
Just
Yeah, the engineers like, do you guys want to use all this? Like, nope. We just need recorded good and right. It sounded good, and we don't need to use all the extra shit that you have.
have you found that, after revisiting all that stuff, has it influenced or inspired where your songwriting is going from here? Have you find that, you found something that's given a bit of a spark of a new direction?
For sure. I think everything is inspiration comes from everywhere. I always
Mm.
believe, and inspiration comes from. I have huge inspiration for records coming off tours, where I went from the tour straight to the studio. That was the case of records like Soulfly One and maybe something like Arise was a good one. We were like we went right from the Beneath the Remains tour into the studio. So you carry with you all that shit you felt on that tour, it's like all that
Mm.
excitement, you bring that to the studio with you. And the last Soulfly record, Totem, was like that. And so yeah, I think everything that like that's how I was saying. Like when I went back and relearned all these songs, I was like really impressed with because I was a kid when I wrote those records, like just a young pup, man, and it was like I can't believe how cool this shit is, especially like
Yeah.
stuff like Inquisition Symphony. That's a big one, man. Like what a bunch of pretentious fuckers to pull out an instrumental like that on when you're a teenager. Who the fuck you think you are?
Yeah. But here's the thing, as you were mentioning before, a lot of bands these days are wanting to sound like it was there because it's raw and it's honest. They don't want the AI shit. They don't want it to be polished. And I think those records have inspired so many of those bands today to do that. And it's incredible. You must see that when you're out on the road.
Oh yeah, I mean I talk to a lot of because I'm a huge into the underground, so I'm
Mm.
friends with a lot of bands and we tour with a lot of them. By the way, we just got off the tour with uh Mutilation Barbecue and 200 Stab Wounds and um a lot of the underground, so Body Box. So And I know that a lot of the guys in those bands, they come to me and they always say like that, that's you wrote our, kind of like you wrote our Bible, we live by
Yeah.
the we live by those records that you wrote. That's huge, man. And I think it's cool because I'm influenced by them now as an old guy, like I get influenced by these young
Mm.
guys, and I think that's cool. That's how it should be. I think that as much as I get influence from my own stuff, which happens also from time to time, I'm also influenced by a lot of these new bands and the energy that they're bringing. Um, and to know, this is cool and important to know that they respect the those records.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And the knowledge, they're not a bunch of idiots that don't know those records, and they know, and they listen to them, and they love what it's on those records, and they use that as inspiration for what they are doing. And that's great. That's really cool. I really love the whole influence connection thing.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And 40 years you've been doing this, you and your brother, which is amazing. I mean, do you turn to him and look at each other and go, "Holy shit, man, we did it." You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
we
He joke about it, but I know it's not true. Like people, I seen him, like people ask him like, like, oh, you've been doing that for 40 years, and he says stuff like, oh, if I knew then what I know now, I would have choose another job. Like, I know he's just joking, man.
Yeah, nah.
What we did, it's pretty incredible. I don't really think of life in terms of time that much.
Mm,
I'm a kind of guy that lives. I live a lot in the moment. I'm not a future guy, and I'm not a that much of a past guy. I'm more of a present guy, and I like to enjoy the moment that I'm in, whatever that is, and make the best of the situation. And sometimes the moment it can be a little bit more struggling, or you could be in a moment where you're just really enjoying the fruits of the labors.
mm,
I had both. A good example is the early beginning of Soulfly. Very struggling, very, complete crazy, a lot of doubt,
mm.
self-doubt, and I don't know if I can do this, under a different name and all this shit. And then, but I'm a guy that I live in the moment. So the now is what's happening. So I mean, and Australia is in January, so it's I consider that the moment. You
Yes,
know,
absolutely.
it's
So
close to
close. So
it,
close.
yeah, it's close to the moment. So I live in for that, and then whatever happens later, whatever, I roll with it. But yeah, man, I just, I mean, I love the don't get me wrong, I love the records, I love the
Yeah.
body of work. It's a huge body of work. So many songs, it's crazy. Um, I actually be thinking about maybe uh do a book of touring stories.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, and then have, because I was on a website the other day. I forgot the name of it. They had every show I ever done. Some fucker put all that together, and I was fucking blown away
Holy shit.
because I forgot half of it, but he had it like, and it was like, it kind of blew my mind. All those shows,
Yeah, yeah.
I kept reading and going, holy shit, this is crazy. And everybody's always want to know about touring, like how is touring.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like there's so
Um,
many things you can go into.
so much happens on touring. Of course, yeah, American tours are different than European tours.
Mm.
South American tours are different than Australian tours, and you can elaborate on all that. So I've been kind of like messing around with this idea for a little bit, but I think I might be able to put that turning that into a book. I think that would be really cool for me and for the fans.
And the family too, because, a family seems to be very important to you and always has been. And it's those
Oh yeah, we're a
memories.
traveling circus.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
But
is this is as close as a traveling circus as you can.
but it's awesome. I love seeing your posts with, you're all together and you've got, the generations now, and it's a beautiful thing, man. It really
Yeah, I mean,
is.
at one point we have dogs on tour with us. Like I think it was a U.S. tour, a soulfly tour where we had two dogs, and the female dog, she gave birth to three little dogs inside the tour bus. The bus
What?
had a heart attack. So yeah, it's the closest thing to, like, I think of a circus life that I can think of it. Like a freak traveling circus carnival shit. But yeah, it's cool that we do it like that. I decided to do it from the beginning. When I met Gloria, I was like, I even told her, like, we're gonna create our own tribe. She's all like, "What the? I don't know what the hell you're talking about." Now it makes sense. It's we create like our own empire type thing. It's cool. And it branches out. What I think it's cool and that's what I mean about the tribe, is that it kind of starts here in my house, and it branches out to the family, and
Mm,
then the family branch out to friends, because our friends are slash fans. They're mixed together anyway. A lot of them were like old fans that became friends, and then it branches out to the fans itself, because when we see them, they feel like they know you. They've been with me my whole life, pretty much, or
yeah.
I've been with them their whole life. uh, and then it's cool. And then I say, we have the biggest tribe in the world, the metal tribe.
Hey, when you see soulfly tattoos everywhere, it's
Yeah, it's
it's
crazy.
definitely
It's crazy.
solidifies that. It's definitely for sure. But talking about that, what's next for you? You got this tour coming up. Are you gonna look at re-recording some more stuff, or maybe a new Soulfly or another Cavalera conspiracy? Like, what's the plan?
So yeah, I'm jamming right now for Soulfly. That's I was doing before the interview. I'm liking it. This is the harvest period where I go out in the desert and collect riffs. Because I believe all the riffs are in the desert. You just gotta go find them. So I go out in the desert and find riffs, and I collect the riffs, and the riffs they're gonna become songs. So they're like, I look at a riff as they're like the seed, that's gonna become something really cool.
Mm.
And yeah, so I think we're gonna have a Soulfly record next year. I don't know when. We gotta let it. We still gotta record and mix and get artwork and all that shit. But we will have a new record for next year, which should be cool. I'm not planning on anything else as far as releasing next year, just Soulfly. So that should be good.
You got some cooking to do. You got to collect the riffs, and then you got to cook up that big brutal metal stew. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, that's what you got to do. But hey, Max, it's been good talking to you again, man. Thank you for hanging
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Likewise, my friend. You take
Yeah,
care.
yeah.
Right?
Hey, and of course, we'll have all the links down here, people. Get your tickets now on the website. Max, have a good Chrissy with you and your family too. We'll see you in
You too,
January.
brother.
Thank you,
See you
man.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
All
bye.
right, man.